Time to deliver a pizza bowl! Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite TV shows, and today I'm just gonna talk about the Eric Andre show because originally I was gonna do the Lost season 4 review, but I actually haven't finished watching it because apparently the midterms still exist when you're in your 12th grade, so I have to stop watching Lost and focus on my studies, otherwise my brain would be fucked. Um, but yeah, anyway, I'm gonna talk about the Eric Andre show. It was the year 2016 in Seattle, Washington, in my hotel room when I was bored, switched on the TV, and found out about the channel that is Adult Swim. And that is when I first saw the Eric Andre show. Anyway, it wasn't until like a few months later when I first actually watched and cared about the Eric Andre show. And right now, it's probably my favorite talk show ever. Yeah, you have Jimmy Kimmel Live, you have Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart, James Corden, and then you have the Eric Andre show. It is a talk show, and it's probably the funniest show I've ever watched. Um, well, it's show, but not really a show. It's a talk show where Eric Andre and his sidekick Hannibal Buress invites a bunch of celebrities on their show and they do interviews and all that. So here's how this show works. Every time in the beginning, Eric Andre just pops up out of nowhere and destroys the entire damn set while his jazz band just plays whatever they want to play. And sometimes Eric Andre even destroys some of the jazz band players as well. And then the set is rebuilt within like 2 seconds, and Eric Andre just sits down. Hannibal Buress comes out of nowhere behind the curtains, and they invite the guests on the show. And then they would interview these celebrities, these guests, except these interviews aren't really actual interviews. They're not serious. Most of the time, the celebrities, the guests, they don't know that. They thought it's a real interview. And it's not. It's hilarious, okay? I'm gonna name some examples of what may happen on the show for you, but I'm barely scratching the surface of the Eric Andre show. So, my favorite interview has to be the Lauren Conrad interview where, everything Eric Andre and Hannibal does and says is just brilliant in all ways possible, especially at the end where Eric Andre basically vomits on the table and then eats it back up. And we also have the Tyler the Creator interview where this random guy from backstage just ran out to the main stage and said, "Investigate 311," and Eric and Tyler and the guy just danced. We also have a bunch of other interviews where Eric Andre gets naked, beats up someone, destroys the table, or make the table spin, like in that Seth Rogen episode, where the whole set just spins around and destroys itself. Uh, we have interviews where snakes come out of Eric's coffee cup or cockroaches. We have interviews where someone or something just falls down from the sky, like that Asa Akira interview. Yes, Asa Akira is on the Eric Andre show. Sometimes they have like these boomer guys where they get too close to the guests and touch their chest, and touch their crotch as well. Sometimes Eric Andre even bring food to the interviews and then end up destroying all of the food. Yeah, we also get like other stuffs that are just so insane, and I don't want to spoil it for you. There's even this rapper ninja warrior contest where they have to complete this little obstacle course, I guess, while blindfolded. But this obstacle course is like the most basic, the most simple one, and they have to rap along while they do the course. and it's just hilarious. It's so hilarious. Eric Andre had to pull out one of these little electric tasers and start tasing these rappers, and he also tased Hannibal Buress as well. Top 10 anime betrayals of all time. We also get for like a couple of the interviews, there there are doppelgangers of the guest of Hannibal and Eric Andre, and for one of these double doppelganger interviews, Andy Samberg plays Eric Andre and Lupe Fiasco plays Hannibal Buress. Lupe Fiasco, out of all people. And there are so many more amazing interviews. Lance Reddick is really amazing. For some of the interviews, it gets awkward as the celebrity or the guest doesn't want to play along. They just get pissed off, and it just gets awkward. But for Lance Reddick's interview, while it's really awkward for the first half, at the second half, he comes back to the stage topless with chains and chants. It's just ridiculous. The Wiz Khalifa interview, the Seth Rogen interview, the Jimmy Kimmel interview, the Kristen Ritter interview, the Jack McBrayer interview, and so many more. Yeah, the Jack Black interview, it's insane. He had like whipped cream in his mouth or something. And Hannibal Buress also is hilarious here. For the most part, Hannibal Buress almost plays a contrast of Eric Andre. Eric Andre is chaotic. He does whatever the fuck he wants. He gets naked. He dances around. And Hannibal Buress, he's just really cool. But sometimes Hannibal is also pretty crazy. Sometimes his girlfriend would suddenly show up, or his dad would suddenly show up, and it's gonna be hilarious. Say the Nick Cannon interview. We also get just guest performances in general, and we also have Andrew WK not performing a song or anything, just destroying stuff, destroying a piano. We even have, like, I think the band Health played as a guest, and Mac DeMarco performed. Mac DeMarco. And also Flying Lotus checked his emails. Flying Lotus checked his emails. That's a really amazing performance. He just checks his emails and everyone's just, oh yeah, oh yeah. You know, Eric Andre is a Death Grips fan. That explains a lot. He even makes a little Death Grips reference in one of the interviews talking about Kuwait Grips. Yeah, he even has guests like Reese Witherspoon and Russell Brand, and none of them are actually Reese Witherspoon or Russell Brand. Reese Witherspoon is basically this very buff black guy in a short blonde wig playing with two metal spoons, and we have Russell Brand who's this homeless African guy who doesn't know what he's talking about, who's probably drunk or high or stoned or whatever, and it's just amazing. The show is amazing. It never fails to make me laugh. I really like the monologues as well. It ain't your mama's monologue. And the street skits, they are probably even better than the main interviews, because Eric Andre would go onto the streets of New York and do these skits where he kind of pulls these pranks, but they're so ridiculous, it can't be a prank. Like Team Go, where Eric Andre and two other people just wears green shirts and say, "We're Team Go, let's go, go, go," like they're in some very positive kids show or anything, and they just ran up to a stranger in a park, beat him up, and rob him, and ran to the streets and steal a kid. Oh my gosh. And there's another skit, Black Scientologist, where Eric Andre, Hannibal, and some others, they pretend to be black Scientologists, and in the middle of chanting in like a square, they start to be confused of what they are chanting about. And then there's this guy who came out of nowhere saying that he's the second coming of Jesus Christ, and Eric Andre and Hannibal, they just went, "Turn your poop into wine." And we have a Time to Deliver a Pizza Ball, which is one of the most underrated skits of all time in my opinion, where Eric Andre in this ridiculous outfit crashes a taekwondo class with a ball, a literal ball of pizza. And there's this taekwondo coach, and Eric Andre goes, "Sup, Ramadan Steve," and then he escapes. And then there's a lot of subway skits as well, where he goes on to goes onto the subway as this mailman who reads other people's mails. This guy who feeds people M&Ms. He went into the subway as a long horse. The Fruit Loops one is the best one, where he wears this plastic muzzle and he pours milk and and Fruit Loops into the muzzle and says, "My body is your communion." There's this other skit where he's Mike Penis and he tries to crash these, parties, saying that he's Mike Penis. He's named after his father's penis. And this other skit where we have 5 Eric Andres just connected to one Eric Andre, and he stands in the middle of the road. I want to die. We have Ranch It Up, where he's in this ridiculous outfit. He walks around a park or something, and he just says, "Ranch it up, just ranch it up." My favorite one is Bird Up, where he wears a green suit and he tells people that, they're gonna morph him out, but anyone with a brain knows that it's not gonna work out. And he has this plastic bird on his shoulder, and he just tells people to, do stuff. He puts his fingers in people's mouths, play with their belly. It's ridiculous. Even Chris Rock was in one of his Bird Up jokes. There's even this Bird Up musical, which is just fucking hysterical. There's this one time Eric Andre injured his neck or something, and so Hannibal had to take over, and it's now the Hannibal show. Also, whenever Eric Andre goes, "Bird Up, the worst show on television, Bird Up, bow, bow, bow," Hannibal goes, "Snail Down, the best show on television, Snail Down, bow, bow, bow." We have Hostage TV, where this fat old guy is naked and he's a sex slave of Eric Andre's. He run around on the streets interviewing people. "Hey, it's Hostage TV. I'm being held hostage." We have I'm a Potato, where somebody rides a bike, falls over, and everybody, around that guy just, surrounds him, and Eric Andre just comes in, says he's a potato, and just interrupts the whole thing and piss people off. We have this time where Eric Andre falls through the roof of one of these meetings, and and when people are like, "Are you okay?" and he took off his jacket and it says Sprite, and he says he's sponsoring Sprite. Yeah, again, I'm barely scratching the surface. There are so many more great Eric Andre skits and great Eric Andre interviews, and I'm saying Eric Andre show is fucking hilarious, and I'm giving it a Bird Up.